Have you ever wondered why you don't enjoy socializing like you used to? If that question stirs something deep inside, you're not alone. Many Americans in their 60s, 70s, and 80s find themselves stepping back from social circles they once cherished. It's not about bitterness or apathy. It's a shift driven by wisdom, experience, and a quiet strength. In this video, we're uncovering 6 profound reasons why you might be avoiding others, even if you once thrived in their company. These insights aren't just guesses. They're rooted in the real experiences of older adults, offering clarity on a change you may feel but struggle to name. You need to watch until the end because this journey will transform how you see yourself. Each reason we explore, whether it's the weight of past betrayals or the joy of embracing solitude, will resonate with your story, helping you understand your choices with compassion. You'll discover why pulling back isn't a flaw but a powerful act of self-respect. We'll share stories, like that of Chloe Auer, an 81-year-old who found peace in solitude, and practical wisdom from psychologists to guide you. By the end, you'll gain tools to honor your boundaries, find peace in your rhythm, and feel empowered to live intentionally. Don't miss this chance to embrace your transformation with grace. Stick with us until the final thought. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Reason number 1. The burden of past betrayals. As we journey through life, we accumulate far more than just memories. We carry scars, some small and fleeting, like a quarrel with a loved one or a brief misunderstanding that quickly fades. But then there are the deeper wounds, the ones that cut to the core. Betrayals of trust, moments when we were dismissed or ignored, times when we opened ourselves up, only to be hurt and rejected. These are the experiences that leave their mark, and as the years go by, they become more pronounced. The echoes of these past wounds begin to ring louder and clearer, reminding us of the pain we've endured. It's not that we become bitter or resentful. No, it's more nuanced than that. As we grow older, we simply learn to protect ourselves in ways we never needed to before. We stop giving our hearts so freely, not out of anger, but out of wisdom. We begin to recognize that not everyone deserves a place in our lives. Not everyone has earned the privilege of being close to us, and that's a hard lesson to swallow. Take Chloe Auer, for example. At 81 years old, she used to be the heartbeat of every weekend gathering. Her home was always open, filled with the laughter of friends, the comfort of shared stories, and the warmth of delicious meals. But as the years passed, things began to shift. Some of her friends drifted away. One of them betrayed her trust. Another simply disappeared after her husband's death, leaving her in the silence of abandonment. It wasn't just one single heartbreak. It was a slow, quiet erosion of connection, a series of small hurts that piled up over time, leaving her with a bittersweet sense of loss. These days, Chloe prefers the stillness of her own company. She no longer feels the need to fill her life with forced interactions or hollow conversations. It's not that she dislikes people. Far from it. It's that, at this stage of life, she treasures peace more than appearances. There's a quiet, invisible armor that develops as we age, forged by the countless experiences we've lived through. It may not always feel warm or comforting, but it becomes a necessary shield, one we wear instinctively, because we've learned just how fragile trust can be. When you've lived long enough to witness the unpredictability of others, to see how quickly people can change or disappear from your life, you begin to guard your time, your heart, and your energy with a fierce protectiveness. It's not about becoming cold or distant. It's about being discerning, about choosing where to invest your love and your care. Older adults often carry the weight of a lifetime's worth of giving, offering love, lending support, and showing kindness. But too often, that love has been met with cruelty, indifference, or betrayal. And that repeated pattern of hurt teaches you to slow down, to pause before offering yourself again, and to retreat when something doesn't sit right. As you age, you start noticing the subtle shifts in your emotional landscape. You begin to sense, not just the words people speak, but how you feel after they've walked away. Do you feel drained, depleted, or unfulfilled? Do you feel more exhausted than energized by the interaction? Psychologists call this relational fatigue, a condition that many older adults face when maintaining connections starts to feel like a heavy burden rather than a source of joy. There is no shame in feeling this way. In fact, it's a sign of emotional maturity. You've lived deeply and you've loved deeply, and that requires energy. Energy that you simply can't afford to waste on those who haven't proven they deserve it. You've seen the best and the worst of people, the kindness they offer, and the harm they can cause. So when you choose solitude over company, it's not born of bitterness or resentment. It's born of understanding. It's the realization that your heart, at this point in life, is precious, fragile even, and not everyone deserves the right to access it. You've learned to cherish yourself more than ever before, and that means protecting what's most sacred: your inner peace, your emotional well-being, and your capacity to love without fear of being hurt again. Number 2. The longing for peace over idle chatter. As we journey through life, there comes a time when we begin to view the world through different eyes that no longer crave the noise of constant chatter. In your youth, you might have found yourself sitting through conversations that felt empty, discussions that danced around nothing of real substance. Those surface-level talks, the rumors, the words that were only there to fill the silence. They seemed necessary back then, the small talk, the social interactions that kept the wheels of life turning. But as the years pass, that need fades. It's not that you dislike people, or that you've turned your back on the world. No, it's simply that you've come to cherish something more precious than words: peace. With time, you come to realize that silence is not something to fear. It's not awkward or uncomfortable. It becomes restorative, like a balm to your soul. And once you've tasted that stillness, the soothing calm that comes with it, you begin to see that there is no trade-off worth making. You no longer feel the need to fill every moment with chatter, just for the sake of it. Consider Henry, a 76-year-old former salesman, whose entire life revolved around talking, networking, connecting. He was the kind of person who could strike up a conversation with anyone, anytime. But now, Henry's different. He's not shy or antisocial. He's simply found something far more valuable than idle conversation: quiet. These days, Henry steers clear of gatherings that demand constant mingling. He finds himself skipping family events not because he doesn't love them, but because he no longer has the energy for small talk. If asked why, his answer is simple yet profound: I'm done talking just to fill the air. It's not that he seeks isolation. Rather, he seeks connection, but one that's deeper, more meaningful, and rooted in sincerity. His emotional energy, like many of us as we age, has become more guarded. The desperate need to impress others falls away, as does the pressure to constantly prove ourselves. What begins to emerge, almost naturally, is a hunger for realness. We crave conversations that matter, the ones that reach past the surface and delve into what's truly important. We no longer want to waste time with empty pleasantries. And if we can't find those genuine, grounded exchanges, we'd rather spend an evening curled up with a good book or a cup of tea, alone but not lonely. It's not about shunning the world. It's about honoring our own need for truth and peace. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. This is where the beauty of growth lies. There's a quiet strength in learning to say no, in curating your time and energy with intention. As we grow older, we realize that we've earned the right to protect our peace. We no longer need to explain or apologize for it. We are not withdrawing from the world. We are stepping into a space of clarity. We are learning what truly nourishes our souls. And as we embrace this new chapter, we begin to understand something profound. Richness in life doesn't come from the number of people in your circle. It doesn't lie in the frantic pace of social events or the noise of constant interaction. No, sometimes, the deepest joy comes from a single, heartfelt conversation or a peaceful evening spent in solitude. So, if lately you've been stepping back, turning away from those meaningless conversations, or skipping crowded events, remember this: you're not shutting down. You're waking up. And that awakening is worth every moment of quiet you've found. Number 3. The sense that people don't get you anymore. There comes a poignant moment in life, when you look around and realize that the world has shifted, but so have you. The faces around you are the same, but the energy, the attitudes, and even the language have all transformed into something unfamiliar. The slang, once so easy to understand, now feels like a foreign language. The beliefs and expectations seem so different, as if society is speaking a tune you can no longer dance to. Even the rhythm of daily life, conversations, routines, expectations, moves at a pace that feels almost overwhelming, a speed you can't quite catch up with. It's like trying to run in a marathon when everyone else is already miles ahead. Amid all this change, you begin to notice a subtle shift in the way people look at you, the way they respond to you. You start to feel invisible. It's not that you've done anything wrong, not that you've changed for the worse, but it's as though people no longer take the time to see you, the real you. The you who has lived a rich, complex life full of stories and wisdom. Instead, they breeze past you, barely acknowledging the depth of your experiences. Take Ella, a 79-year-old retired school teacher, for example. She used to love spending hours with her younger relatives, sharing stories of how she raised 5 children, worked a full-time job, and still managed to volunteer in the community. These were not just stories. They were lessons, triumphs, the essence of a woman who lived her life fully, with purpose and grace. But now, when she speaks, it's as if she's talking to a wall. Her relatives smile politely, but their eyes are often glued to their phones. It's not out of malice, it's just that they are no longer fully present, no longer truly listening. And over time, this subtle disconnection starts to feel like an abyss between them. It's not that they don't care. They just don't realize that by not listening, they are unknowingly building that wall. This is one of the quieter, more heartbreaking reasons that people start to feel pushed away. It's not rejection. It's emotional invisibility. It's the kind of loneliness that sneaks up on you, filling the spaces between conversations with a kind of exhaustion that wears you down, little by little. And when this goes on long enough, you start to choose your own company. Not because it's better, but because it feels safer. You know the depth of your own emotions, the breadth of your experiences, the treasure chest of wisdom you've accumulated over the years. But when people stop recognizing that, when they stop truly seeing you, it becomes easier to withdraw, to stop offering your voice. This kind of loneliness isn't about being physically alone. It's about feeling emotionally isolated, even when surrounded by others. You might find yourself speaking up, only to have the conversation quickly shifted to something else. You share a concern, and it's dismissed as overdramatic. Eventually, you start questioning yourself. Is it me? Am I just too much? Psychologists call this emotional invalidation, the quiet erasure of your feelings. It happens in small, often unnoticed ways. A look, a half-hearted response, an offhand comment. Over time, these moments pile up, and the weight of them becomes unbearable. And here's the raw truth we don't talk about enough. This emotional invisibility is something that impacts older adults more than we admit. It doesn't come in the form of a loud rejection. It creeps in slowly, through subtle moments that slowly accumulate, like sand slipping through your fingers. But even then, your thoughts still matter. Your voice still holds weight. The fact that others aren't listening doesn't mean you've lost your value. It simply means you've outgrown certain conversations, and that's okay. It's okay to realize that sometimes, the answer isn't to force yourself into someone else's world. It's to find people or spaces where you don't have to explain yourself so much, where simply existing in your skin is enough, where someone truly listens, not just for their turn to speak, but for your truth. And when those people are rare, when those connections feel few and far between, it's natural to retreat, to protect your energy, to seek solace in your own company. Because, let's be honest, there is an incredible peace in being known by yourself. There is no pretense, no need for explanation, no worrying if you're being misunderstood. In that space, you can be your most authentic self, and there is no shame in that. We often feel guilty about carving out space for ourselves, as if it's a sign of weakness or selfishness. But the truth is, this solitude can be healing. It allows us to reconnect with who we are, to honor the wisdom we've gathered over the years, and to acknowledge the beauty of simply being. So, don't feel guilty for choosing your own company when others aren't willing to see you for who you truly are. Your worth is not diminished by their inability to hear you. It is only strengthened by your decision to protect your peace. Number 4. The fear of being a burden. As we grow older, there's a quiet fear that begins to creep in, a fear that isn't just about illness or the inevitable reality of dying, but about something far more difficult to express: the fear of becoming a burden. It's a weight that settles heavily in the chest, and no matter how hard we try, we can't shake it. It's not that we fear being loved less, but rather that we fear our loved ones will feel obligated to take care of us, something they never signed up for. This fear gnaws at us in the quiet moments, when we're alone with our thoughts, and it makes us question if our presence is a welcome one or just another responsibility they have to carry. It's difficult to articulate, this sensation of being in the way. You begin to shrink from reaching out, even when you need help the most. You feel guilty asking for what should be your right: comfort, care, attention. Your loved ones have their own lives, their responsibilities, and you don't want to interrupt that flow. So you retreat, silently and gradually. It's not stubbornness, as some might think, it's care. It's a strange form of respect for the lives that don't revolve around you anymore. You begin to say no to invitations, not because you don't want to see them, but because you don't want to impose. You don't want them to feel the weight of your presence, as though they must sacrifice something just to accommodate you. The phone calls grow fewer. The texts, shorter. You find yourself keeping your worries to yourself, not because you don't trust them, but because you don't want to add any extra stress to their already full plates. And without even realizing it, your world begins to shrink. The walls close in. Take Herbert, for example, an 84-year-old widower who once looked forward to every weekend spent with his daughter's family. But as his mobility began to decline, he started turning down invitations more and more. When asked why, he said, "I don't want them to have to change their lives for me. They've got careers, children. I'll just be in the way." Even though his family never once made him feel like a nuisance, that deep-rooted fear still loomed large. His family would have never considered him a burden, yet for Herbert, the thought of being an inconvenience weighed heavier than his desire for their company. It's a strange, painful paradox that many older adults face. The more you depend on others, the less you want to. The more you cherish the connection, the more reluctant you become to ask for it. After a lifetime of being the strong one, the helper, the one others leaned on, it feels almost impossible to shift the role. You become so accustomed to giving that even the idea of receiving seems foreign, uncomfortable, and at times, shameful. But this fear, deep down, is born from something beautiful, even if it feels painful. It's the wish to be loved freely, without strings, without obligation. We long to be wanted not because we need help, but because we matter. We don't want to feel like we're just one more thing on someone's to-do list, one more thing they have to juggle in their already busy lives. But the reality is, the people who truly love us, our children, our friends, our partners, they don't see us as burdens. They may not always know how to express it, and they may not always get it right, but their love for us is unconditional, and our needs will never be seen as a weight to bear. They'll see it as a gift, a chance to give back even a fraction of the care we've shown them over the years. Yet, despite this truth, the fear lingers. It holds us back from reaching out, from speaking up, from engaging with the people we love. It whispers to us that we are a problem, and we start to believe it. We pull away when we long for connection. We stay home when we want to go out. We sit on the sidelines when we want to join in. And over time, it feels easier to isolate ourselves than to risk the discomfort of depending on others. But here's what I want to say to you. Don't let this fear take over. Don't let it rob you of the joy that comes from being with those who care about you. It's okay to lean on others. It's okay to need help. Your presence is a gift, not a burden, and the people who love you want nothing more than to be there for you, just as you've been there for them. It's time to let go of the fear. You are worthy of love, care, and connection. And that, dear friend, is a truth that can never be taken away. Number 5. The quiet fading of old relationships. Some relationships don't end with loud arguments, hurtful words, or tearful goodbyes. They just fade, almost imperceptibly, like the last traces of daylight at dusk. You don't even notice it happening at first. Life shifts, people grow, and little by little, those once vital connections slowly begin to unravel, unnoticed in the everyday rush of life. The bonds that once seemed so solid, so dependable, begin to fray at the edges, until one day, you look around and realize the people who used to fill your days aren't there anymore. It's not as dramatic as a falling out, but the absence is just as real. Sometimes it doesn't hurt at all. In fact, for many, it brings a sense of quiet relief, a peace that comes with shedding something that no longer fits. But there's another side to this. Sometimes it leaves behind a quiet ache, a feeling of something lost. It's as if you've drifted away from a chapter of your life that once held so much meaning, and now, you're not sure whether to mourn it or simply accept it as a part of your journey. You find yourself thinking back to the times you spent together. The endless lunches, the laughter shared over inside jokes, the hours spent talking about everything and nothing. And then the inevitable question creeps in. What changed? Was it them? Was it you? Maybe it was both. Maybe it was time itself, gently nudging you both in different directions. Think of Victoria, a vibrant 73-year-old woman who, for years, had walked every week with her best friend from high school. Those walks, which once felt like a vital part of her routine, slowly turned into monthly outings, then yearly, and eventually, they stopped altogether. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. There was no big blow-up, no harsh words exchanged. Just a slow, quiet understanding that their paths had started to diverge. Their lives had moved on, and with that shift, their bond had faded. Just like the leaves falling from a tree, unnoticed at first, until one day you look up and realize the branches are bare. As Victoria herself put it, we still care about each other, but I think we've said everything we needed to say. Her words carry a bittersweet truth. Relationships are often tied to certain phases in our lives. And when those seasons change, when the children are grown, when the jobs are done, when the neighbors move, it's only natural that some friendships won't survive. As we get older, we might find ourselves surrounded by people who no longer align with the person we've become. At first, it can feel like a loss. But in reality, it's a form of progress. A subtle but profound shift. The more you grow, the more you realize the importance of your time and energy. It's not about rejecting those who were once close to you. It's about understanding your own needs in a way you never did before. And sometimes, those needs call for space. Not to escape, but to breathe, to simply exist without the weight of maintaining relationships that no longer resonate. There's a quiet wisdom in knowing when to let go. The friends who once lifted you might now feel like a burden. Conversations that once flowed so easily might now feel forced, awkward, and strained. And in those moments, instead of clinging to the past, you choose to create space. Not out of anger, but out of deep respect for who you are now. People often speak of growing older as a time of loss, of watching loved ones slip away. But what they don't tell you is that sometimes letting go isn't about losing someone, it's about freeing yourself. You realize that closeness without connection can sometimes feel more isolating than being alone. When you step back from certain relationships, it's not because you're avoiding them. It's because you're respecting the shifts within yourself, the changes that are unfolding inside of you. You've grown, and that's something to celebrate, not to mourn. As painful as it can be, learning to accept that you've changed, and that not every relationship is meant to last forever, is one of the most liberating realizations you can have. It's part of the journey, a beautiful reminder that you're still evolving, still discovering who you are, and that's something worth embracing. Number 6. The joy of being on your own. There comes a time in life when you stop frantically seeking the company of others, and instead, you begin to cherish solitude. This isn't born out of loneliness, nor is it the result of emptiness. It's because, somewhere along the way, you've stumbled upon a profound realization that many never do. Your presence is enough. This understanding brings a rare, precious peace, a deep, quiet satisfaction that settles within you when you realize you no longer need to explain yourself, impress anyone, or wear a mask to meet expectations. You're finally free. For much of your life, you may have been surrounded by people, whether through work, family, or commitments. And during those years, you probably had little time for yourself. There was always something that needed your attention, a call to answer, or a task to complete. You might not have even noticed how much noise surrounded you, how seldom you paused, how rarely you allowed your thoughts to settle without distraction. Then one day, when the rush slows and the noise fades, you experience the quiet. It feels almost sacred. This stillness isn't something to fear or flee from. It's something to protect, to embrace. It's the space where you come alive in ways you never thought possible. Take James, for example. At 82, James was once the life of the party. His home was a revolving door of friends and family, always filled with laughter and conversation. He thrived on the buzz of social interaction, and everyone knew him as the center of attention. But in recent years, his joy has shifted. Now, he spends his mornings sitting quietly on his porch, watching the birds flutter about, enjoying the calm of nature. When someone asks if he ever feels lonely, he just laughs and says, "I've got enough memories in my head to keep me busy for days." What James has discovered isn't loneliness, it's peace. He has found comfort in the quiet, in the stillness that he once might have dreaded. This transition often puzzles those around you. They might look at you with concern, assuming that you're pulling away because of sadness or isolation. But in truth, what you're doing is reconnecting with yourself. It's a deeper, richer rhythm of life that doesn't demand constant noise, a rhythm that allows you to move at your own pace, follow your thoughts, and do what feels right. It's not withdrawal. It's a profound form of self-awareness. It's the insight that comes only after years of giving, of stretching yourself thin, and of showing up for others, sometimes to your detriment. Solitude, when it's chosen, becomes a refuge, a space where you can recover and restore your spirit. In these moments of quiet, your thoughts flourish, and your truest self can breathe. The older you get, the clearer it becomes. Some of the most peaceful, fulfilling days of your life don't need anyone else at all. The world may continue to spin in its usual hectic way, but you've found your place in it, a place that's all your own. And for the first time in a long while, you don't feel incomplete or unsettled. You're whole. Not because the world has shifted, but because you've finally learned to claim your place in it. As we wrap up today's discussion, I want to ask you, what has resonated with you the most? Have you discovered the value of solitude or found peace in embracing your presence? Take a moment to reflect on what you've learned so far. Is there something new that you'll carry with you and apply to your life moving forward? I'd love to hear from you. Please, comment below and share one thing you've learned today that you plan to put into practice. Let's start a conversation about how we can all embrace the joy of our own company and live more fully in the present. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more content like this to you, and we can't wait to see you in the next one.